Good Thursday afternoon. Thanks for joining us on KARE 11 News Now. I'm Chris Harapsky. Just in this afternoon, another victim has been identified in the deadly shooting at Annunciation Church in South Minneapolis. Minneapolis city leaders say that brings the total number of people hurt to 18. Right now, it's not clear if that person was shot or injured in the chaos that followed, but two kids, just 8 and 10 years old, died in that shooting yesterday. 15 other children were hurt, along with 3 adult parishioners. City leaders say law enforcement in the Twin Cities will also increase patrols at area schools over the next few weeks. As of right now, police are still looking for a motive in that shooting. Right now, Hennepin Healthcare says they're still caring for 9 patients from the shooting. 6 of them are in satisfactory condition, 2 are in serious, and 1 child is still in critical condition. We heard from EMS and doctors who say they practice for situations like this, and there are several unsung heroes from the day.
The children that were protecting other children, which is really amazing to hear about. I might be saying too much, but we had one kid that covered up another kid and took a shotgun blast to his back and things like that, and they were helping each other out. So the teachers were amazing. The teachers were, getting shot at. They were protecting the kids. They took all the kids outside to the area of safety. Witnessed all this happen. The teachers were amazing. The kids were really upset, obviously, but they really did a great job of keeping the kids together, keeping them calm, and then taking them to area of safety and really working with the parents. So the teachers were amazing.
HCMC leadership also shouting out several of their own workers who stayed with the kids while they waited for family to arrive at the hospital. Some of the other victims are being treated at other area hospitals. Meantime, moms demand action, speaking out today at Minneapolis City Hall about this violence. It's going to be at 1 p.m. They're joined by local, state, and federal lawmakers to honor the victims and call for stricter bans on assault weapons. Also in Minneapolis, as you're heading home from work tonight, an interfaith prayer service is going to be held at the Basilica of St. Mary in Minneapolis. Everyone is welcome to attend that. That begins at 5:30. A child survivor of the deadly shooting and his mother talked to Craig Melvin on the Today Show this morning. Javen Willis says he knew something wasn't right immediately and did everything that he could to keep his classmates safe and calm.
Well, right when it happened, I dropped down under the pew, like I said, and I prayed. I said my few prayers, and then I realized, I can't just sit here and focus on myself, knowing that with God on my side, I would be fine. So I tried to just go and help out my fellow classmates, try to keep them calm and safe and let them know that they'll be okay.
Security experts who lead public safety trainings on active shooters say this is a sad reminder of how vulnerable our kids can be. We spoke to the leader of the Community Safety Institute. It's a national group that's been training schools, churches, and law enforcement about active shooters since the 1990s. They told us churches are notoriously hard to secure because they want to be welcome to the community, but that's why he believes it's important to talk with kids about what to do if something unthinkable like this happens.
I talk to my kids and I'm very frank with them and say, listen, if you're ever in this situation, God forbid, this is what you need to do if you want to survive. You've got to get out of the situation. You've got to conceal yourself. You've got to find cover. Those are the best things that you can possibly do if you're not in a situation like a school where you can lock down and protect yourselves.
Matthew says it's uncommon for a shooter to fire through windows outside instead of entering, but he says that along with the quick actions of the students and adults to run and hide, that likely ended up saving many lives. The question still surrounding all this is why. Police have identified the shooter as 23-year-old Robin Westman. Right now, our investigative team and police are going over a series of online videos and writings that appeared on social media about 40 minutes after the church shooting. There is a rambling written statement and a conglomeration of Russian Cyrillic, the Russian language, and English that make deciphering what's there sort of a heavy task. There's a picture of numerous guns that appear to be painted with mass killers' names and conflicting political messages. There's racial and religious slurs, self-loathing, wishing to die. Also weeks of notes detailing the planning that went into the shooting. the purchase of the firearms used, and the recon visits to the church to look for armed guards and ways to barricade victims inside. Police right now also searching 2 homes connected to the shooter, one of them an apartment, coming out of a box full of evidence, including at least 1 gun. Heidi Wigdahl spoke with neighbors in both areas who were just stunned.
In the Wyndham neighborhood, news of the mass shooting spread fast.
First of all, was in shock. Second of all, started crying, obviously, as we saw the kids coming out on the news, all those families we all know.
Michelle Fick, whose son had gone to Annunciation, soon realized she didn't just know the kids.
That's when we found out the shooter lived on our block.
Neighbors we spoke to say they didn't know the suspect well, but know the couple who lives here. Police searched the home near the intersection of 1st Avenue and 57th Street, less than a mile away from Annunciation.
I'm sure there are several kids in this neighborhood that are coming home in such fear. It's just horrible. It's a very close-knit neighborhood, so we'd always see them at the block parties, and it's really sad. Really, really sad.
We live in a very safe neighborhood. A lot of the neighborhood kids went to Annunciation, so we all know each other. And we take care of each other.
While police searched the family's home, they also were at the suspect's place in Richfield, Linwood Commons Apartments.
It was sad. You know, it really was.
Darren Harris says he didn't know the shooter, but they would see each other in passing. He was at work when he saw the shooter's picture pop up on his phone.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it was him. So you had to keep doing a double take. Like, is this really him? Yeah, it was him. You know, so I was like, oh, that's messed up. You know, it's sad.
Heidi Wigdahl reporting there. Hey, if you're looking for ways to help, the city of Minneapolis is directing people to donate through the Minneapolis Foundation. If you'd like to donate, you can text ACF1 to 41444. The city says it'll work with the church community in the coming days to get the funds right to the right place. Memorial Blood Center is also asking for blood and platelet donations to help at the hospitals. They say they've already provided more than 250 units of blood after several tragic events this week, all while still in a blood emergency. Memorial Blood Centers is encouraging people to make an appointment online. Now, this story is going to be developing for weeks, and we're going to stay on top of it, as we always do. We're going to bring you any updates as soon as we get them. Stay with KARE 11 Plus for the very latest. An update today, we know the name of the person killed in a mass shooting, not Wednesday, but Tuesday in South Minneapolis. The Hennepin County Medical Examiner says 35-year-old Greg Sweeten died after being shot in the head. It happened near East Lake Street and Clinton Avenue in broad daylight. Right now, police are still looking for whoever pulled the trigger. 6 other people were hurt in that shooting. Developing right now, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is looking for a new leader. Now, former director Susan Monarez has been ousted just weeks into the job. The White House says she was fired on Wednesday after saying Health Secretary RFK Jr. was, quote, weaponizing public health. She was sworn in July 31st to lead the department. Her leaving marks the shortest tenure ever for a director in an agency. The CDC is facing massive cuts right now, too, recently terminating 600 employees. For those looking to savor the last few days of summer, expect plenty of company. Another record-breaking holiday travel week is in store for the Labor Day weekend, boosted by the lowest gas prices that we've seen this time in years. NBC's Sam Brock joins us from a rest stop in New Jersey with more on what you need to know.
The joys of the holiday travel week are upon us, and no surprise here, it's expected to be a record-breaking figure for the number of folks who are driving and flying to their Labor Day holiday destinations. First, the good news. Gas prices are as low as they have been in a long time. According to Gas Buddy, $3.15 a gallon. That's 14 cents per gallon less than this time last year, the lowest it's been since 2020. We're in Weehawken, New Jersey, just outside of New York City. $3.19 a gallon. That's really good news for folks. Now, here's the reality. Experts say there's not necessarily a correlation between how low gas prices get and how many people are on the road. It's going to be a crunch regardless, as you can probably hear behind me. So the reality is this. You're going to want to leave your house by 1 p.m. on Thursday, noon on Friday, and the guidance for Saturday, 6 to 10 a.m. That's your optimal window according to AAA. Once you get into the early afternoon and evening, it is absolute gridlock. So that's on the roads. As far as the airways are concerned, the FAA says that this is the busiest travel season they've seen in the last 15 years. And Thursdays tend to be the most jammed, high volume days to fly during the summer. It's worth noting as well that 6 of the 10 busiest days ever, according to TSA checkpoints, have all happened since May of this year. June 22nd was the high water mark, almost 3.1 million people in one day, which again is relevant because those 2 days before Memorial Day were about 3 million. Now we're getting to the Thursday and Friday before Labor Day. The projection's about 3 million people. So just make sure you leave yourself plenty of time and know that the TSA's shoe policy of removing it has been relaxed now. This is the first major holiday. Passengers are going to experience that. Also some family dedicated lanes open for the first time in select airports as well. Sam Brock, NBC News.
Stick with us. More news and weather coming up after the break.